Good morning and welcome to another edition of the Daily Fix. I am your usual host, Advocate Tulo Hoyane. This morning I would like to look forward to 2025. The Senzo Meyiwa case resumes on the 20th of January 2025. And shortly thereafter, we are going to see the defense case unfold. Now, what the defense has got to do, they've got to adopt a strategy that will rubbish 636. And how will they do this? Or how are they supposed to do this? The key man in all this will be Malesela Teffo. You'll all recall that it was Teffo who brought to the attention of everybody the existence of Docket 375. Remember, Teffo is an ex-policeman. Teffo has got many contacts within the police force. Teffo has all the information relating to the narrative that there were no intruders into that house. So in all that scenario, Teffo will be very, very crucial. There are other people also who are involved in the investigation. There's also Warrant Officer Maku that the defense has got to call in order to rebut this version that we have now unfolding in court, which says there were intruders into that house. You see, the accused have got a mountain to climb of sorts. They have got a huge burden to discharge because the prosecution has said there were intruders into that house. The prosecution case was largely based on the fact that the intruders having come into the house, maybe with a motive to rob or something, then shot Senzo Meyiwa. But we have all the evidence around us now that indicates that there were no intruders into that house. So before anything happens by way of, the defense case study, the first and most important thing is for the defense to say, where is Docket 375? You see, if they can succeed to do that, if they can lead evidence that there is a Docket 375, although this docket has been ignored by Gininda and Balui, if they can just bring to the attention of the court that we have a parallel docket, and that parallel docket tells a different story from what is we are hearing unfold in court. That will be a very powerful tool for the defense. And I am urging all the defense lawyers just to concentrate on Docket 375. You see, because if the defense is going to be conducted purely on the basis that, there were intruders into that house, it becomes a very difficult task. It is not impossible, but it becomes a very difficult task. The easiest way to go about it is to say, we have a parallel version. Why are these people in court when we have a parallel version that says there were no intruders into that house? They must then proceed from there and call witnesses that will show or destroy the version that there were intruders into that house. Essentially, those witnesses will then focus on Docket 375. In other words, they must dispute the version that there were ever any intruders into that house. Because that is the only version that we have. And I'm saying that a lot of the investigators, I've been talking to a former investigator, Tlapadima. Tlapadima has unequivocally, without any hesitation, indicated to me that 636, the version that there were intruders into that house, was a fabricated version. And coming from a man who was hands-on, a man who was on the ground doing the investigation, this is a very credible version. And I'm inclined to believe what the people on the ground tell me and what the people on the ground are saying. So those people must all be assembled as witnesses by the defense. They must line up all those people, starting with Teffo. And I can bet that Teffo's testimony is going to be very, very explosive. Remember, Teffo is no longer an advocate. He was just disbarred recently. So the defense must have no problem at all calling Teffo now as a witness. He must be a star witness. In fact, the very first person that they must call to testify around 375 must be Teffo. And they must insist on this. They must insist on this because I can sense that the judge will say, but we are not here on the basis of 375. We are here on the basis of 636. They must stand their ground and indicate that they do not at all believe that the people we have in the dock, the 5 people that we see in the dock, had anything to do with the killing of Senzo Meyiwa. And to do that, they must come up with 375 and say, here is a docket that clearly indicates that the people in the house have something to answer or have something to do with the killing of Senzo Meyiwa. That is the only way the defense is going to be conducted. And that is the only way those people are going to go free. Because if we go by their own narrative of intruders and so on and so forth, like I indicated earlier on, it becomes a very difficult task. But if we have a parallel docket that tells us a different story from what we are seeing unfold in court now, it is going to be much, much easier for them. And for once and for all, the truth will come to the fore. The truth will come to the fore. Sfiso Meyiwa is on record recently saying they don't believe what Gininda and Baloyi are doing. Gininda and Baloyi have simply lied to the court. The Meyiwa family is not satisfied with this trial. If this trial is going to come up with any verdict or finding, it will be irrelevant for their own purposes. Because for a fact, they know that shortly after Senzo Meyiwa was shot, they got telephone calls that Senzo had been shot by mistake. Now, if Senzo had been shot by mistake, how all of a sudden then you get a narrative that says there were intruders into the house? Where did this shooting by mistake come from? It came from the people in the house. Something went on in that house on that day that somebody is not being honest about. And Senzo lost his life. So 375 is a trump card. It's a trump card for the defense. The defense must come up with it, call witnesses, and I hope all the witnesses are willing to come forward. Those that are not willing to come forward must be subpoenaed. They must be subpoenaed. There must be court subpoenas, to sort of compel them to come forward. But I believe that a lot of the people who are involved in this investigation, much as there is a lot of tension around this trial, will be willing to come forward. And that will be the death of 636. If these people come forward and the court hears another version, then the court will have to decide on 2 versions to say, we have before us 2 versions. Which of the 2 versions is more credible? And I believe that 375 is going to come through as the most credible version of the 2. That is the defense case, and I urge all members of the defense team to seriously look into this. I think in the new year, I might get into contact with some of them because I always used to meet Advocate Mugomezulu in and around the Pretoria High Court. I'll be talking to some of them just to impress upon them the importance of bringing up Teffo, the importance of bringing up Docket 375, so that we don't run the risk of convicting innocent people. We need the right people in that dock. Thank you very much for watching this video. I'm very impressed by the subscriptions that I'm seeing. I'm also very impressed by the views that I'm seeing. For those of you who might want to buy a t-shirt or make a small donation, I've always said I'm available on my WhatsApp number. Let me give you this WhatsApp number again. The WhatsApp number is 063 640 4329. Let me give it to you again. 063 640 4329. That is my WhatsApp number. You can get me on that WhatsApp number. I'll give you all the details and the logistics of how you're going to get your t-shirt or how you can make a small donation. Thank you very much once more and have a nice Monday morning.